Billy Eichner, Leslie Grossman, and murder. We're breaking down everything that happened in Cult this week on American Horror Story Dissected. Hi, I'm Sadie Guinness.
And I'm Keisha Hatchett.
And was it just me, or was this like a very tame episode of American Horror Story?
Yeah, I was a little thrown off because I wasn't jumping out of my chair as much this week. So that was a slight relief, but there was still a lot that happened.
Yeah, and we're going to get into all of that right now. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched, just let us spoil it for you anyways, but we wanted to give you a fair warning. So first of all, they introduced two of my new favorite characters, Meadow and Harrison, Allie and Ivy's new next door neighbors. What did you think about these guys?
Okay, I absolutely love them. I think they're amazing, and the fact that they're Nicole Kidman fans is the best.
It is so weird and so random, but at the same time, so perfect. Like, the second they said that they were president of, like, the Michigan chapter of the Nicole Kidman fan club, I was like, I know exactly the type of people you are.
Yeah, but there is something off about them. First of all, those big blue barrels, what are they hiding in them?
Something bad. It's gonna be bad. It would actually be really funny if it turned out to be something very innocuous, but I doubt that. These guys are creepy creeps. They got bees. They just so happen to film Kai's attack. They just so happen to move into a murder house. Like, they're definitely part of Kai's cult. There is no way that these guys are not evil, and that kind of makes me like them more.
Yes, they're a fun kind of evil, you know? They're not twisty where you're like, I don't want to see you ever again in my entire life. I feel like they're actually approachable. You know?
Yeah, and like they're silly and weird, but creepy. Like Billy Eichner as like a dramatic actor is amazing. Like he's so good in this part and actually kind of unnerves me while also making me laugh.
Yes, and Meadow, I just want to give her a shout out because, well, first of all, her lemonade line. Did you catch that?
Excellent Beyonce joke. She loves the housewives. I honestly think that we could be friends if she probably wasn't going around killing people.
Yeah, in another universe where they weren't potential. Sorry, we got to put the spoiler there. Potential murderers. Then yeah, we'd be totally friends.
And speaking of murder, though, there was actually a lot of death in this episode. First, we had, like, the chef Roger got, like, hung up on that meat hook. But then there was that blackout, and Allie accidentally shot her employee Pedro.
Like, okay, first of all, last 3 seconds, my heart stopped. I could not believe that she did it. She pulled the trigger.
I mean, like, I totally believe it. She's, like, off her rocker. But I don't think it was a total accident. I think Allie was actually set up.
Yeah, if you look back to all of the events leading up to this moment, it sort of adds up. Beginning with the very, with her getting the gun from Harrison. How convenient was that?
Yeah, like, they gave her the gun, and then Harrison, like, stoked her fears, telling her it was, like, a terrorist attack. And then Kai, earlier that day, made her even more on edge by, like, coming to her house, making her feel very unsafe in her own home. But the worst part is, like, let's say Harrison, Meadow, Kai, and Winter, who abandoned her, were all in on this conspiracy. That still wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for Ivy. She was the one who sent Pedro to their house. And so if we're going to believe this conspiracy, do you think that means Ivy's in on the whole thing too?
It looks pretty bad for Ivy right now because the whole point of her shooting him, I feel like, was getting Pedro there in the first place. And the only way to get Pedro there is for Ivy to send him over to drop off some things.
I mean, that breaks my heart. I love them together, but it does kind of make sense that Ivy might not exactly be Team Allie at the moment. I feel like after Allie voted Jill Stein, Ivy lost a lot of love and respect for her wife, which is a ridiculous reason to potentially, like, set up your wife to murder someone. But I don't know the whole story. I do think she was in on it, though.
Yeah, and then that just makes me believe that everyone in Allie's life right now is conspiring against her.
Well, like, speaking of that, like, there is no way that there was only one cop in this whole Michigan town, and yet Detective Colton Haynes, Detective Samuels technically, but it's Colton Haynes. That's all this guy is. He has worked every case. He worked the grocery store case. He worked the Chang's murders. He worked the something else, the Rogers death.
yeah.
Yes, like he's been on every single case, and I do not think that that's just a coincidence. He has to be evil, right?
Yes, there is definitely something off about him. Like, look at that hair. It is too blonde for him not to be suspicious.
Yeah, right now there are only 3 people in the show with like really obvious dye jobs, and it's Kai, evil, Winter, evil, and probably Colton Haynes, totally evil. So I think case closed. The detective is bad. Watch out for him. He'll get you thrown in jail and cover it all up. Probably murder you. I don't know what he's capable of, but it isn't gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the lookout for Detective Colton Haynes and his evil blonde hair.
And that's it for us this week, but tune in next week for more American Horror Story Dissected.
And remember, keep it spooky.